Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkus, and this is Swamp Thing, Season 1, Episode 7, Brilliant Disguise. Brilliant Disguise. Yes, good episode. Another good episode. And yeah, I'm just disappointed that this thing got canceled. Really, I mean, it has a lot more promise than a lot. It got a little soapy in this one, I'll have to admit, but it was still good because the quality of the show is actually pretty good, and the actors are really good. The writing's good, so it didn't delve into CW territory or Dawson's Creek territory or anything like that. It held up quite well. So get a little business out of the way. If you like what you see here on these videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. I just ask you to go down in the comment section. Tell me what it is you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism, and I answer back. I'll let you know what's going on. Also, you can find out when I'm going to be on live again next by either hitting the bell down below here. And if you go hit that bell, if you already hit it, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also find my schedule up on suspendedfanimation.com, and it's also mirrored over on my Facebook site as well. Yes, I was a little half an hour late tonight, and that was because I was taking so many notes that I was running over time, and there's just no way I was making that 6:30 deadline. So you can blame work on that one. Yeah, because I just wasn't able to get there in time. Yeah. And I also have a Twitter, and I have a Patreon page, which has no tiers at the moment, and I have an Instagram as well. It is all up there. Hey, Joe. Yeah, you saw how I categorize my videos. I categorize them fairly well. So everything that's done live podcast is under podcast, and everything else is also, well, they're also under their show names as well. So, yes. Movie Fonobi says, I enjoy that he can tap into the green anywhere as long as he's connected. Yes. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And something else came in the mail today. Little something for Comic-Con. That is called a business card right there. See how it, got nice little shine going on Suspended Fanimation. If you can actually, if it will focus. There we go. Bring it in closer. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, it's official. I got the whole thing up there, all that kind of stuff. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, those just came in the mail today, and I was like, oh, cool. All right. So I can go to Comic-Con now. So before I get started here, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you haven't watched the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you very much, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. And yeah, sorry if I'm a little bit out of it today. As you can tell from the sun, it was a busy day today at work. So, I'm hydrating and also getting ready for Comic-Con. If I haven't mentioned, did you know Comic-Con starts next week? If I haven't mentioned it before, yeah. So, yeah. You're an official YouTube wanker. I haven't wanked on YouTube, at least not that you know of. Congratulations. You need to track your subscribers pre and post Comic-Con. Yeah, that would be interesting. I work outside almost every day, Viking Bitch. Depends on if I can get away from coworkers, especially my coworkers that are carrying diseases. If you guys are watching, yes. One's, we have two of them that sound like they're horking up lungs at the moment, and I feel sorry for them, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to be anywhere near you, because if you get me sick for Comic-Con, I'm going to be kind of pissed. So hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, it was something that I had gotten last month. Or remember when I had to cancel a whole slew of shows because I was, it sounded really, really nasty. And I think that was it. Pass those baby out. Yes, I will, Movie Fanobi. I have plans for them. I got 500 of these little suckers. So, we'll see what happens. So let's start with the recap, huh? And then we'll go into the review a little bit, and then I'll talk about, what you guys are talking about there too. So, Abby, of course, is having the after effects of the spores still, and she's seeing Swampy look like Alec, the human, before he became Swamp Thing. And she's kind of, a little enamored with what she's seeing. And Alec is theorizing that the spores that Abby inhaled basically gave her some hallucinogenic properties. And so things might not be as big as they appear in the mirror. Know what I'm saying there? And yeah, she sees him in his human form, but he's really still in the Swamp Thing form. And he says he has no control over it. That's what they all say. We've always said that. I got no control over this thing, baby. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, that's what they all say. And she says, he asks her if she needs anything. And she's like, yeah, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. And he goes, wait a minute. I think I got crackers in here. And so he's looking for some crackers. And all of a sudden, these trees start growing in through the window. And he looks at him and goes, well, we've got some guava. We've got some plums. We've got grapes. What do you want? And she's like, I'll take a plum. And yeah, so he can grow these things at will. He just realized that she was hungry and needed food, and that's what he brought in. Yeah. So, and she's, he's trying to tell her that, he's connected to the green, and that the green tells him things and brings him things as well, lets him bring things, and that he can hear everything waking up outside. And the plants are actually especially noisy. He goes, those things are, they're pretty noisy. They talk all the time. And he goes, and they're always trying to tell him about the darkness that is coming and the rot that's out there. And she's wants him to share it with her and says, well, where is this? Can we take a look at it? It might actually be something that has to be, maybe part of this whole thing that's going on. Maybe she can find a cure from it. And he tells her, you know what, we really shouldn't go out there. It's really dangerous. And she goes, hey, I'm with the CDC. This is what I do. So they reminded us now a couple of episodes in that she's still with the CDC. Because remember, the CDC is left now, Mirai. They are gone. She is the only one that's left from the CDC. And really, she isn't there in official capacity. She's just there on her own. So they head on out to go and take a look at that. Matt, in the meantime, was over at Delroy's filling out a transfer request, which Liz takes a look at and goes, transfer request, huh? And he goes, yeah, I had to get away from the office. Needed to get some work done. I couldn't think there, as he says. And, she asked him about being out in the swamp, that she heard it over the scanner, and what she was doing, what he was doing out there with all the other deputies and everything. And Matt says that he knows, he goes, Liz, I know about Alec. And she goes, what do you mean? Alec was out in the swamp? And he goes, I know what he's become. I've seen him. I know that Abby's looking for a cure, and she's not going to leave until she finds a cure for him. And Liz, finally lets that whole charade go down. She's not putting on those airs anymore. And then Matt tells Liz that, Abby keeps talking about this thing, the darkness that is coming. And he goes, and Liz says, you think she's crazy? And he goes, no, I think she's right. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, so Avery and Maria are in their kitchen there, and Maria is cooking up a storm, and she says that she wants to make a home-cooked meal for this guy, Mr. Ellery, who's coming in. And Mr. Ellery is part of the Conclave Group. The Conclave Group is this group that has given money, millions, to startups, all kinds of different startups and things like that. And that's what Avery has this guy coming over for, is to fund their research at this point. And so he goes, I'm going to just get that catered. She goes, no. He'll probably enjoy a home-cooked meal. And so she tells him, all her different things that she's got setting up. And he's like, wow, you're doing a lot of cooking there for... He goes, I see the meds are work. I can't believe that he actually said this too. How long this guy's been married. And he says, I see the meds they gave you are working. That sounds great. And she goes, yeah, I feel a lot better now and a lot more clear. And I was like, whoa, Stepford wife right there. Yeah. But Lucia comes over and says that she needs to borrow Avery for a minute. And she goes, oh, yeah, sure. And as soon as they leave the room, the ominous music swells as Maria gets that, that suspicious look in her face. And we know that she knows what they're up to. And as they go into the next room, she slams Avery up against the wall and basically tells him, you know what? fuck you for what you've done to my son, and sending him out to go and kill Alec and not doing the dirty work yourself. And he goes off and tells her, you know what? He's a big boy. He knows exactly what he can do. And he goes, I didn't see you complaining about all the money that you were taking doing my dirty work as well. And kind of pushes her aside. And then he goes, why don't you have a drink before you leave? He goes, fix yourself a drink before you leave. And she goes, no. That's not how it's working. Alec is still alive. And you go, well, what? And she goes, yeah, he's out in the swamp. He's alive. He's disfigured by whatever that shit is that you put in the swamp. She goes, you got to finish your dirty work. You're not hiring any more guys. You're coming with me, and you're going to go kill him, is what she says. And he's like, all right. So he finishes, slugs his drink down, and they go outside and tell Maria that, you know what, I got to take care of a little bit of business with Lucia. I'll be back later. Don't worry. And he gives her a kiss, and they walk out. And Maria's like, okay, bye. Have fun storming the castle. And as soon as they leave, the ominous music swells again, and she gets that look on her face again. That she knows something's happening. Which that was the only part of it that I was kind of like, okay, really? You did a little cheesy soap opera, dun dun dun, and you get that look, the glare. Yes, Avery is his own henchman. He really is at this point. So Abby says that she's never seen the swamp so lush before. She's been there all, as during her childhood, she's gotten the swamp all the time, and she's never seen it so lush before. And Alex says, well, that there's it's due to a bunch of forces at work right now. And he goes, and they're all, life and death. They all come about. There's an underlying supernatural force. He's trying to explain to her about the green a little bit, and how she, there's other stuff that's happening. He goes, it is science in some way. He goes, but it's not stuff that we understand. And he goes, but there's other stuff at work right now. The darkness is coming. And he takes her towards a clearing. And Alex says that there's toxins, chainsaws, all kinds of crap that are out there. And the trees are in pain. That's what they're hearing. The creaking of the wood and everything is all the trees in pain. They're screaming out. And Abby isn't leaving until she gets a specimen. And Alec keeps warning her. He goes, that's really dangerous. We shouldn't go any closer to this. She's like, nope, I'm going to go into the middle of all this and grab a specimen. So, of course, he follows her. Yeah. She says it might, find a cure for what's plaguing Marai at this point. Marai. There we go. I always mispronounce that town. In the meantime, Maria visits Woodrow in his little bungalow next door and says that she wants to talk to him about his report and how he wrote down that his findings were successful, even though the patient left strapped to her gurney screaming in pain, writhing in pain, as she says. And then she asks him, if time and money weren't an obstacle, would you be able to achieve what you were set out to do with that, with those cells? And Avery's, Woodrow, Jason is saying, where's Avery at? Why am I not talking to him? And she goes, don't worry about him. You're talking to me right now. I'm in charge. You're answering to me. Can you deliver on what you're promising? And he just kind of looks at her and goes, yes, ma'am. Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny, actually, where she just kind of cuts him down and he's like, yes, ma'am, I can do it. So Lucia and Avery are out in the swamp on their boat there, and Lucia is pumping up a shotgun. She's loading up full of shells, and Avery wants a shotgun so that he can go out there. And she's like, I don't know about that. And he goes, you still got your service weapon. It was good enough to kill Dubois with that, right? Remy Dubois. And of course, he knows about this at this point. And she's like, all right. She gives him the shotgun. And she goes, lead the way, is what he tells her. And she takes off the boat there. In the meantime, Alec tells Abby that the rot kills all life that it touches. They're out in the clearing there. They're just kind of wandering out there. And he goes, and it leaves nothing behind, basically. So what they're seeing is nothing behind there. She's trying to get a sample from this dead piece of wood. He sees this dead alligator that has crap crawling around inside of it. And as she is grabbing a sample of this dead wood, he tells her the darkness is here. It knows we're here. Let's get the fuck out. We need to get out now. And just as he tells her that, this dead vine grabs her around the wrist and punctures her arm. She screams out. He rips it off her and he tells her to run. And as they're running out of the dead spot there, we get an overhead view and we see the rot kind of spreading through the swamp. and moving pretty fast, actually. So, yeah. Jason, in the meantime, is getting ready for dinner with his wife, and she wishes he would just come back to the school with her. And he tells her that the cure for her Alzheimer's is in those cells, and that's what he's planning on doing. She goes, "Well, you're never going to get to that kind of level to a cure for me in time." And he goes, "No, don't worry, we will. The way this stuff is working, we will." Yeah. So he's kind of putting all his eggs in one basket here. Lucia and Avery, in the meantime, are in the swamp, and Avery says that he needs to go back. It's getting late. He needs to go back. And she says, "No, this is where we saw him. Just take a look around for a little bit." She goes, "What's that up ahead? Do you see something?" And he goes, "What, are you looking for your partner?" And that's when he cocks the shotgun and points at the back of her head. And he goes, "So you're looking for your partner? So what were you going to do? Kill me here? Dump me out in the swamp?" And she has her hands up. And again, this is the whole thing that Remy Dubois did. So I was kind of seeing, a little bit of a repeat on this one. And she turns around. She goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Why are you going to kill me?" She goes, "I'm the only person who actually knows who you are." She goes, "I'm the only person who sees you for who you are." She goes, "I'm the only person who loves you. I truly love you. Are you going to kill me?" And he says, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to kill you." And he cocks the shotgun again. Why you're going to cock it a second time, I don't know, but maybe for just effect. And that's when Matt comes flying out of the back of the trees, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's hiding behind a rock or a raccoon or something. And he knocks Avery down. The shotgun drops and blasts off. And yeah. And that's when Lucia says, "I didn't think you were going to come." And he says, "The damn GPS crapped out. Otherwise, I would have been here sooner." So, yeah. He wants to kill him right there, and she's like, "No, we're not going to kill him here." She goes, "It'll leave a blood trail, blood evidence. We're going to do it out in the boat, out in the water where there's going to be no blood evidence. Let's pick him up and move him there." Because you never want to kill the bad guy right away. You always want to leave that until the very end. So Maria researches Ellery online as he shows up, and nothing like doing your homework at the last minute. I know that. I never know what that is, but. And a storm is brewing outside as Ellery shows up, and he kind of complains that Murray is way out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And she goes, "Yeah, it's a hidden gem." And you can tell the look on his face is like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And she says, "You know what, Avery's running a little bit late, but let's have a cocktail and have some crab maison." And he's like, "Fuck, all right, sure, I'll have a vodka martini with a lemon twist." And so she's playing little Susie Homemaker at this point. He looks pretty pissed too. So Alec, in the meantime, brings a wounded Abby back to the lab, and her wound is just pretty infected and spreading fast. And she says it's flesh-eating bacteria. Oh, I've never seen flesh-eating bacteria move that damn fast. I mean, it's moving up her arm. And he says, "Well, we got to get you to the hospital." And she goes, "I'll never make it in time. What I need is an herb called Chinese lantern. That will actually counteract it." And he says, "Well, Chinese lantern doesn't grow out here." She goes, "But you can bring it here. You're connected to it. Anything that grows, you can bring it here." And so he closes his eyes, and he's able to have Chinese lantern grow into the lab. He grabs some, grinds it up, and tells her to swallow it. She does. It doesn't work. The rot is actually fighting back, and it's getting stronger inside of her. So, and she's screaming in pain at this point, because it's pretty painful. Oh, excuse me. So we cut back over to Avery, wakes up in the back of the boat. Matt's got a shotgun on him, and Avery's like, "Oh, wow, you got some balls, huh?" He goes, "So you're going to kill your own father?" And Matt's like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, she didn't tell you." She goes, "I'm your father." He goes, "Yeah, she paid off a lot of doctors and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm your dad, and she's never told you this." And just he's basically able to do this just enough so he can get a pocket knife out and stabs Matt in the shoulder. He drops the shotgun. Lucia picks up the shotgun, blows Avery away in the knee, or the leg actually. He's hopping over to the side of the boat, and then she clips him again in the shoulder as he goes overboard. Yeah. And starts firing into the water wildly. And at this point, she stops. She thinks he's dead. She's hoping he's dead at this point. and she packs some gauze around Matt's wound and says, "Okay, we're getting you out, back home, and we're gonna get you stitched up." And Matt's pissed, saying, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me?" And I mean, yeah, Matt's a little mama's boy. He really is. He really is a mama's boy. I have to admit. For being a cop, man, and I mean, first of all, you're working with your mom, who's also a cop. Dude, you need to branch out a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say. And there was one other thing I forgot, that Avery actually had mentioned to Maria that the swamp owes him for what it did to his father. We still don't know what the hell that is, but Avery did mention that the swamp owes him for what it did to his father, and it was just kind of a weird thing. So anyway, Abby is gasping for air, and Alex says it's a war between the rot and the green that's going on inside of her body. And then he mentions a nice little tidbit. He goes, "You have over 200 different flora inside your body. Maybe I can jumpstart them to work a little faster for you." So he switches over into Swamp Thing mode. We see him put his hand over her stomach, and these tendrils come out of his hand and burrow into the skin of her stomach. And she screams in pain as he kind of jumpstarts her flora inside of her body to counteract the rot. And it seems to work, and she passes out. So Ellery, in the meantime, is pissed that Avery is still a no-show. They are at dessert at this point with a pecan pie. And Maria impresses him with knowing about his Mod 4 project. He goes, "How'd you know about that?" She goes, "Oh, I have, people in higher places that I know how to I still have contacts." And she has Dr. Woodrow walk him through the prospectus, and then interrupts and boils it down and basically says, "Hey, there was a guy in a level 7, it was a level 7 comatose patient with no hope of recovery. We injected him. 2 days later, he wakes up and he's able to speak, and he's cognizant at this point." And Ellery is interested at this point and decides to listen and eats his pecan pie. Yeah. Woodrow, in the meantime, it's after dinner there, and he's with his wife, and he says, they've received full funding. He's very surprised. They're going to get a full lab, fully stocked, all this stuff. He's very happy with it. And then he asks his wife, "Did you enjoy dinner?" And she goes, "Yeah, I did." She goes, "But who was that other couple that were with us?" And she, of course, her memory has slipped again. And, he tells her who Ellery is and who Mrs. Sunderland was and all that kind of stuff. And then she goes off to bed because she's tired. And we see that, she's not getting any better, of course, because, Alzheimer's sucks. That's all I can say. So Abby wakes up and sees Alec, standing over her again, and she's feeling better, and she thanks him, and he asks if the spores are wearing off, and we see that he's kind of switching back and forth between Swamp Thing and Alec, and she's like, "Yeah, they're wearing off." And then she says, "All we have right now, all we have is right here, right now," and he saved her life, and she kisses him. And he tells her to rest. That's what he does. He goes, "Yeah, you know what? Go ahead and why don't you rest for a little bit?" Because, maybe he was sprouting a little wood. We don't know. Yeah. So, Lucille, in the meantime, brings an injured Matt to the Sunderland's estate. And there's a car that pulls up, and she says, "Yeah, you know what? Right over here, right over here." And they pull up to the door, or they run up to the door there, pound on the door, and we see, she leaves a bloody handprint on the door and everything. And Maria opens it up and says, "We need to come in. We need to fix him. We couldn't get him. We're not taking him to a hospital with a stab wound. And this is a doctor friend of ours who's going to fix him." So Maria lets them in. And it's kind of weird how Maria just kind of lets them in and is not really questioning anything at this point. And then we find out that Maria, once they're inside and the doctor is stitching up Matt, Maria says this wasn't part of the plan. And Lucia says that, she didn't expect him to stab Matt at that point either. And Maria says, "Okay, well, we got the prospectus signed. The company is, and Lucia says the company's yours." And then she asks him, "Is he dead?" And Lucia lies and says, "Yeah, sure, he's dead. Mostly dead. Maybe. Maybe not all dead, but he's mostly dead." And she says, well, she tells Maria, remember, you got to file a missing persons report in the morning. And she goes, I'm going to send somebody else to do that because I never want to see you again. She goes, when I'm going upstairs to bed, when you leave, make sure you clean up all this mess. I don't want any blood in my kitchen in the morning when I come down. Pretty cold-blooded, actually, at this point. Yeah. Alec, in the meantime, tells Abby that maybe he became what he is because it's part of a larger plan, a plan larger than them, as he says. And maybe he's a warrior in that battle. And he thanks her and tells her, you know what, go live your life. Thank you. And she wants to fight the battle with him. And he's like, nope, don't come back here. Go, leave, is what he tells her. And that's what she does. She gets in her boat and leaves. Abby calls Liz as she's driving and tells her that she had to say goodbye to Alec, of course, and she's going back to Atlanta with the sample that she has because she needs a little bit. She needs the CDC resources in order to take a look at these samples and do her work that she needs. I've been reading the chat a little bit here and there, Morks. I see what's going on. I've been ignoring you guys like I normally do. I can multitask sometimes. That's not milk that I'm drinking. It's not whiskey either. I've moved up to Everclear. I mean, yeah. In the meantime, we see Avery is very much alive. Well, partially alive. And he's crawling out of the swamp. He's using the knife to stab it into the ground and pull himself up. And he rolls over onto his back. He's kind of grown. You see he's got shot in the back a little bit. He's been shot in the leg. He's in pretty bad shape. And when he rolls over, he opens up his eyes and we see that he's starting to transform. Yes, and he lets out a little kind of groan, and that's where we leave off on the episode. Yeah. So pretty damn good episode. We had some movement on some things. I did not see the whole Maria and Lucia working together thing. I really didn't. That was a good twist for me on that one, and especially up until the point when she let him in. And I was like, wait, why did she just kind of let him in? And then when she says this wasn't part of the plan, I was like, oh shit, they're working together. Nice, not bad. And yeah, man, Avery really pissed off a lot of people, is what happened. Yeah, never piss off the women in your life, especially if they know each other, because that's, yeah, that's bad news right then and there. Sorry, I've got a little dog that's licking my leg right now. She wants to go out and it's not happening. So movie fan says, so Avery, Dennis, he doesn't turn into a monster or anything in comics, right? It looks like something was happening to him crawling out of the swamp. I don't know, to tell you the truth. This is something a little different. I know Woodrow, what he might turn into, but I don't know about Avery, what's going to happen with him, to tell you the truth. Avery is suck a dick. He's such a dick. There we go. Yes, actually, the H and the K. Okay, I see where it was. He deserved it. Yeah, he did. He really did deserve. He set that whole shit up by himself, and he deserved every single bit of what he got. He really did. Man, that's all I can say. And Alec, turning away Abby. Abby was ready to do a little Netflix and chill with him there, and he was like, nope, you got to take some rest. I'll be over here polishing some wood in the corner. But yeah. Viking Bridge says Avery should have been more careful where he stuck his wood. Now they've conspired against him. Exactly. Movie fan says, I feel a bit dismayed that this show almost proves that weeds cure all things. I'm not a supporter. Weed doesn't cure everything. It just makes you think it does. That's all it is. I'm going back through the chat a little bit here and just seeing what you guys were talking about. Yeah, it's a normal shenanigans. Penn Farm Girl says, so now we know where the house came from that Woodrow is staying on. Basically a guest house. Yeah, I didn't realize that's what it was either until Mark Verheiden, who is the executive producer of Swamp Thing, mentioned it in his Twitter feed. And he said, yeah, this is, I think Viking Bitch was the one that pointed that one out, that everyone was kind of confused. Like, how in the hell did Avery show up so fast with the shotgun when Daniel showed up, when he was kind of screaming at Woodrow? It's because he was right there. It's his house. It's on his property. And Woodrow was staying there in the guest house. Yeah, they didn't really make that too clear at first. So having Mark Verheiden clear that up was pretty good. Tamarox, what? Oh, hey, Tamarox, how's it going? Yeah. Hey guys, just found out about this channel a couple of days ago. Glad to be here. Missed these TV reviews. Welcome, Tamarox. Yeah, no, I've been here since about mid-December, something like that. And yeah, I've been growing more and more TV shows that I've been doing left and right here. So yeah, you came in just as I'm getting ready to do Comic-Con next week, and I'll still be able to do Legion next week, starting Wednesday. Of course, I'm probably gonna have to put like Krypton, iZombie, Swamp Thing, and Saturday Morning Blast Off next week into hiatus because of Comic-Con. There's just too much going on, and I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah, and welcome, Tamarox. You should come by tomorrow on Saturday Morning Blast Off. That is where I do the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and it's a lot of fun. And that starts at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. SBO, that's right. SBO. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, I might do a group page on Facebook as well, so you guys can post whatever you want on there if that's what everyone wants. I can put that up there if I remember how to do it again. I think I stumbled across it last time by accident. So, yeah. Let's hope Dennis's and Suspended Fanimation's legend grows at Comic-Con, or at least his shorts will. I don't wear pants at Comic-Con. What are you talking about? I wear short pants. That's what I wear. Pen Farm Girl says, we have determined, was Adrian an earlier episode? IMDb says only one. We know how trustworthy that is. Adrian Barbeau, I don't think she was in anything as of yet. She might not be until something later, unless she was in the movie stuff with Daniel. That might be the whole thing. Hey, Jar, how's it going? Dennis the Cancelator. Yeah, I am. I really am. I guess so. I mean, shit. This Swamp Thing only lasted one episode. I did the first episode. I praised it, and then it got canceled. Like literally right the next day. They were like, "Shit, he likes it. Fuck it, we're gonna cancel it." Yeah. Oh, she's in the thumbnail for next week. Nice. I didn't see that, Pen Farm Girl. Yeah, I didn't look at next week's episode was. I know it's on the DC Universe thing, but like I said, I was kind of running around and trying to get stuff done and all of that. I love Adrienne Barbeau. I mean, she is still one of my favorite actresses. Escape from New York. I mean, yeah, she was awesome in that. The original Swamp Thing. The Fog. The Fog was awesome with her in it. Yeah. Yeah, she's actually she's a fun actress. I do not burn easily. This is what happens when you stand outside in sunlight and people do not want to move into fucking shade, is what happens. I keep trying to guide people over in the shade and they want to talk out in the sun. And I'm like, dude. Yeah. Thanks, Finobi. I'll take a look at it later. Oh, that cup is bottomless. No, it's not. I'm near the end here, but I do have a backup. Dun, da, da, da. Vodka. I mean, water. Yeah. See how that works? Hey, Slurmy, how's it going? There, duty done. Now back to my invisible friends. Dennis is so formal tonight. No, this is just what I was wearing at work, and that's what happens. I did not change shirts I didn't change out to something superhero-y. I need to do laundry, that's why. So Ejar says they probably have a guy at each network with a big red cancel button just waiting for you to see what you're watching. It's so Ejar, it's not what I'm watching, it's what I watch and what I really, really, really like. That's what it is. So Legion's gone. They got, the final season going on right now. iZombie's gone, but this last season's been kind of wonky. And I saw that Rob Thomas is writing or has written the last episode of iZombie, which is going to be interesting. Krypton, I'm kind of on, which means that's going to get another season. And of course, this Swamp Thing, I really liked it out of the gate. That got canceled right like that. So there you go. If I like The Boys, well, it's on Amazon. So Amazon and Seth Rogen, it might get a second season. That's about it. Happy was the same thing. Yeah, Happy got canceled, but I was calling that one. I wasn't too happy with Happy's second season, and it was very uneven. And then I actually called that one was going to be canceled. Maybe they just heard me. I don't know. So, and the passage one I hated, and that one died a very, very sudden death. That wasn't my fault on that one. I didn't like that show at all. Can you start watching all those NCIS shows? Well, see, that's the whole thing. Though, it's not just I watch them; I have to really like them. Dennis sober is really serious and a bit OCD. Yeah, not OCD, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's already talk on the web about The Boys season 2. Yeah, I know, Joker. Like I said, it's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. I can't remember which the last name of his writing partner. They're signed on with a new production company, I think is what it is. That's the reason why like all their other stuff is now gone, is canceled. Like Preacher is the last holdover, and then that's gone. Once that's gone, that's going to be the last of their old production company. The Boys has started their new stuff. They signed on with a new deal, and I believe that's the reason why a lot of that stuff kind of got axed. Yeah. Yes, there is a show based on What We Do in the Shadows, Tamarocks. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. It's on FXX, actually. So if you get the Fox app, it's on there. I believe it's on Hulu as well. I don't know if it's on Netflix as of yet, but well, Arrow's coming to an end, Morks. I'm pretty sure Flash is right behind it. Legends of Tomorrow, I have a sneaking suspicion that this next season is its last season, and I'm pretty sure Supergirl's not going to be too far behind. Yeah, I mean, yes, I know they have Batwoman that's coming up, and that just looks horrible. They keep showing the same, promo commercial for that thing, and I'm going, no. They're going to show the first episode at Comic-Con. I don't know if I want to subject myself to that. I did that with Supergirl. That was my mistake. So Supergirl was originally on CBS. That's where it started off at. That's your first problem to begin with. And that first episode was really bad. But the first episode they showed us at Comic-Con was revamped a bit when they finally released it on CBS. And it didn't make it that much better, but yeah. Yeah, but it's CW. Those shows seem pretty they're not Viking Bitch because the CW doesn't have anything to go back on. So the Lost Boys that, or I should say the Lost Girls that Rob Thomas is working on right now. I'd forgotten Rob Thomas was working on that. So he's the one that's working on the TV show for the Lost Boys that actually has now female leads. And he has to go back to the drawing board in order to fix all of that. That's why he's been absent from iZombie, because he had to go back and rewrite everything. Slurmy Scott, Tamarok, you missed all the fun of Future Man. Oh no, Future Man's got one more season, Slurmy. And once that last season comes out, I will be covering that. Yeah. So funny and a little naughty. Check out the reviews. Great show. Wouldn't have known but for Dennis. Yeah, thanks. That's one of my again, another show that was part of the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg combo package on their production. That's the reason why that one's ending as well. So, did you watch Lost Girl? Yes, I did, Joe Greer. I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons, and then I kind of got lost on it and just stopped watching. I don't know. It just kind of petered off for me. I'm still shocked how a show can run out of ideas. It happens more. It's not that it runs out of ideas, it's that you get bad writers. So you end up bringing in the lowest tier writers you can find because they're willing to work for scale. And that's, you get what you pay for, unfortunately. That's what's going on with Krypton right now. I like how Krypton started off, but the writing on the show had gotten pretty bad in the second season. And that's because you don't have David S. Goyer working on that anymore. He has gone off to go and write his movies that he's been doing, and telling fans to go fuck themselves and grow up. I'm not kidding you. That's what he has said to fans before. Yeah, he's not the most pleasant person in the world. Viking Bitch says, I binged Lost Girl when I was too sick to get out of bed once. I was hooked after that, even though it was a bit silly. If you want to see something good that's in the same kind of vein, Viking Bitch, Winona Earp. Winona Earp's actually really good. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be its last season this season because they finally got funding for it, but they need to re-up all the contracts and all the actors in it. Yeah. Stormy Scott says, work for scale. I mean, how much coke is on the scale? No, it's how much coke. It's the weight of the amount of coke that you can blow up your executive's ass. That's what it is. And surprisingly, it's not that much. But it is about time. Thank you. I'll be here all week. So if you like stuff like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and you can also hit the little bell down below to see when I'm going to be on again live. You got a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you, but you can hit that bell. You can go into those bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. I also have my schedule up on suspendedfanimation.com, all one word, suspendedfanimation.com. And I have that mirrored up on my Facebook site as well. And I switch it out once a week. So I never know what I'm going to be doing the next week. So it's once a week. And tomorrow is going to be Saturday morning blast off. That's right. That's where I take the genre news of the week, talk about that, and any genre stuff that you guys want to talk about as well. Sunday I'm off, but you may see a video pop up on Sunday. It's not going to be live. It's probably going to be something that's recorded. But there you go. Monday is going to be Legion, the final season of Legion. Tuesday I'm off again, and then Wednesday is when the craziness of Comic-Con starts. And I'm actually going to go and try. I did not get tickets to Conan O'Brien for Comic-Con. I'm on the wait list for all 4 shows. So Wednesday morning, I'm going to actually go down and see if I can get in the standby line. I'm going to go down there around like 6 a.m. and go and wait in line like the fool that I am. Yeah, because I don't have tickets to preview night. So I figured, what the hell? And it's going to be early enough that if I go down there and I don't get in, I can still go down to the rest of the con that set stuff up down there and take some pictures, take some video, all that kind of good stuff. It'll be my pre-con con. Yeah. Tamarocks, we need to clone Noah Halley so he can do 10 different projects at once. He's actually doing a pretty good job, Tamarocks. He is doing so he has mentioned, so he is working on Lucy in the Sky right now. That is his space movie, the one with Natalie Portman and John Hamm. He's finishing that up, and he's also going to be doing the press junket for that. After that is going to be the last season of Fargo, or not the last season. It's going to be the next season of Fargo. I think it is the last season of Fargo. I think he's wrapping that up. And then he's been very coy about this, but he's been talking to Marvel because he wrote a script for a Doctor Doom movie. And he also told Marvel that, and he's talked to Kevin Feige quite a bit, that he wouldn't mind coming on board and working with them to bring Phase 4, some ideas into Phase 4 to bring in X-Men, to bring in the Fantastic Four. He wants to work on all of that. He is like gung-ho about working on the Marvel, the MCU. And if anybody, that's who I want in there, Noah Hawley, because Noah Hawley is fucking awesome. If he did this for a character as obscure as David Haller, to bring him in and do as good a job of this, I know it's not for everybody. He needs to come in for the rest of the movies and just, that's what he needs to do. Yeah. We need to clone Dennis so we can get rid of networks on TV. Thanks. Yeah. I will never forgive ERP for knocking Dark Matter off the air. No, they didn't knock Dark Matter off the air. That was their fans. Oh, I kid somewhat. Movie says, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, your lovers, and your spouses. Don't forget your dogs, your dog groomers, your vets, your aunts and nephews. Fuck your uncles. You don't want to fuck your uncles, man. Some people may have already been doing that. So unless your uncle is Slurmy, he likes Dennis's eyes. He does. I know. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot to take that off there. There you go, Slurmy. How's that? Yeah. Thank you, Slurmy. See, my eyes are up here, man. Yeah, I did post a little something on Instagram. I was trying to make sure that all my connections were in place for so when I post to Instagram, it should automatically post to Facebook and Twitter at the same time. And that's what I was doing. I posted a little picture of my Deadpool figure that I have, and I wrote a little letter to Comic-Con. They still haven't responded yet. I don't think they know what to make of it, quite honestly. It was pretty funny, as long as, I think it was. But who knows if they do. They might not have the same sense of twisted humor that we all have. Dennis's YouTube notification said, brilliant disguise, and he didn't even cosplay. Unsub. Fake news. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the real world into that. Yeah. He lied. False advertising, man. Read it inside the synopsis of what I've written. You say brain slurmy and it comes out all garbled like you have. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. Disney conspiracy. Disney just owns everything now at this point. Mork says Tamarok's the tea is so that his dog Pepper gets a treat. If we get enough people to join, that he might give her some. I gave her one before I went on the air here. And it's kind of funny. She knows like commands like how to sit, how to shake hands. She knows how to lie down, all that stuff. She will not do it unless I have food in my hand. So I've tried doing it without food, and she's kind of looks at me like, she looks at my hand and is like, yeah, fuck you. Of course, if I have food in my hand, then she'll do it. So, and she's standing at the door now, scratching the door and then staring at me because she knows that it's time. She's like, yeah, asshole, it's time. With that said, yeah, take a look at all the videos that I have. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you can take a look. There's going to be a video that pops up here. It's going to be a video picked specially for you based on all the algorithms of everything you've been watching, because YouTube tracks all of that stuff that you watch. And it's going to pick one video from my vast video library and pop it right up there just for you. Of course, up here is going to be last night's iZombie episode, because I usually post whatever the last episode was right up in here. So, and with that said, well, on that lovely note, exactly, I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow morning for Saturday morning blast off at 10:30 a.m. Hopefully it's 10:30 a.m. I'm going to try and get the work done tonight. Sometimes it spills over into the morning. You never know. It does happen. Thank you to everybody who joined me in the chat. Welcome, Tamarocks. Spread the word. Spread it far. Spread it loud. Street, yell it from the mountaintops. I was going to say something else when what Slurmy had posted there, and I was like, I'm not going to touch that. Nope, not going to do it. And with that said, thank you to you out there too. If you made it this far through the video and you're like, what the fuck is this now? Yeah, I know. And I do swear. I'm sorry for those of you who are offended by swearing. It's getting worse and worse depending on what's going on at work. So I apologize somewhat. But yeah, that's how I talk. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow morning for Saturday morning blast off. Again, thanks to everybody who joined tonight, and I will see you again tomorrow. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get roofied by some spores that make you hallucinate to seeing things that probably aren't there. And, objects might look bigger than they actually appear. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.